book. A yard of Twix.
Elf on the shelf. The elf on the shelf.
I wish it was just one long Twix bar.
And his name was John Cena. Dun, 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 dun. I feel good. I feel good. I want us to do that.
I cannot remember. He has red hair and they're dreads. He was a criminal, but he used to be a guard. The only reason he was a criminal was because of Zidane. When you see their backstory, it's hilarious. But he was just like, you outdid me at every fucking turn, and I just fought to be as good as you. But you had your friends, and that's what made you so strong, and I was trying to do it alone. And now you're just gonna throw that away? And he's just like, yes. Fuck y'all. I couldn't do a damn thing. I am broken. And then when he finally fucking gets it done, when he finally perks the fuck up, Garnet. Garnet is the reason he poked, like, just... I mean, of course it was gonna take his girlfriend, but... It's just like, the fact that he's just like, fuck you to literally everybody else. And then Garnet's just like, my mom died. My whole kingdom blew to pieces and you were there for me. And now you're just gonna give up? And he was like, you're right, I probably shouldn't give up. And then he thanks everybody for like trying to get through to him. And I'm just like, my baby. I'm so glad you're not sad no more.
What started that? You said the disc 4. You said you put disc 4?
Yeah, like, I don't know, the whole series of Final Fantasy IX is just like bad shit happening to good people for no reason. And then they get to the planet of Terra and there are all these people that look like him. Like similar hairstyles, they have tails just like him. Like they all look really similar to him and everybody's just like, what the fuck is this? And then you meet this guy named Garland and he has a conversation with Garland. And it just kind of throws him into like this god-awful depression. And it's just like, I think you fight Garland, then that happens. I'm not sure the order anymore. But like Zidane's just like, when the scene happens, it's like he's sitting on this throne. And it's just like black and it looks awful and it's just sad and shit. And he's just on it like passed the fuck out. And then Aiko and Vivi, like... are behind a gate or something, trying to get to him, trying to help him, trying to talk to him, and he gets out and just walks past them, and they're just like, hey, we need to find everybody, and he's just like, fuck you. And it's just like, okay, first of all, why are you saying fuck you to an 8-year-old who has been alone her whole life because all the other summoners died? She only had her granddad. Then he died from old age. She's been by herself with like 20 Moogles for at least 2 to 3 years. Why would you say fuck you to the 8-year-old who is in love with you? And then Vivi, who you have been helping all this time because he's been going through all kinds of shit, wondering if he's real. Why there? That was a cat. That was a dead cat on the side of the road. My whole heart hurts right now.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I didn't see.
I glanced aside and there it was.
It happens.
I understand. It still hurts. But, okay, so like Vivi, you know, very beginning of the game with Vivi, you find out that there are other Golem type things that look exactly like him but don't have minds of their own. They're just killing machines for magic. And he's just like, why do they look like me? Am I even real? He has this like super existential crisis. And then later on in like maybe disc 2 or 3, you come across a black mage village. And all those black mages at some point in the existence after being made, they kind of like click to where they have a consciousness and they're just like, I am real, I am alive, all this shit. And I think like they found out that the max age type thing that they make it is like almost 2 years, maybe. Like, cause it's a really, really short amount of time. And they have like numbers, and they call each other like Mr. 107 and shit like that, because they don't have names. Vivi's the only one with a name. And they don't like die, they just like stop functioning.
Yeah.
And when he found the Black Mage Village and he found others like him, and they were giving him answers to these existential as fuck questions that he had, it hurt him a lot. And then he wanted to stay with them, but he didn't. He ended up staying with Zidane and shit because that was his friend. It was just so much. That game, so many emotions. It is still my favorite game. It is still the best game, in my opinion. If you say Final Fantasy VII is the best Final Fantasy game, you're fucking wrong. It's a good game, but it does not trump 9 or any other Final Fantasy for that matter, except maybe 13 and 12. It's better than 13 and 12. I will give you that. A lot of things are better than 13 and 12, but not 9. 9 is just like top tier better than 7 and 8. 8 had such a shitty game mechanic. I hated it.
No!
It was awful. The game mechanics of that game was terrible. The story was good though.
8 was not terrible though.
Game mechanics, they were awful. I hated the draw system.
Oh.
And then I hate that super broken, if you just let Squall die and just leveled everybody else up, the game was broken. Because all the monsters in the game, their levels correlated with Squall's level. So if you just killed Squall in the very beginning of the game and just leveled the fuck out of everybody else, everything became super easy at that point. Because all the monsters would still be at like level 2 and shit. But I do think that it would be a bitch. Because, do you remember Ragnarok?
Yeah.
The ship?
Yeah.
You remember it was just Renoa and Squall? I feel like even super hyper leveled, you realize DSW was that way, right?
I don't know. I'm just driving. I don't know where this thing is. The dude was on a bike. I was gonna run over that nigga.
But, like, despite the fact that, like, even if you did kill Squall, like, first disc, get to Ragnarok, somebody's coming.
We're just gonna die. We're gonna die.
We've almost died like 4 times today.
Because they, what am I trying to say?
They're not looking where they're going.
They're not looking where they're going. And they're just gonna walk and or drive out and get hit.
But, like,
Okay.
even if you, like, super leveled Renoa and shit, and, like, Squall is, like, still dead, still level, like, 2, I still feel like Ragnarok, all those monsters and shit, because you had to, like, remember, they had, like, those monsters, and they were the same color, and you had to kill the 2 same colors.
Yeah.
And if you killed, like, a blue, then you killed a yellow, then both the blue and the yellow were back, like, stupid. You had to kill them in the right order. And I just feel like even under level, those monsters were kind of strong. Renoa by herself probably could not have taken it. She probably would have died. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to play the game again, so. I mean, unless they HD remaster that shit.
Hey.
But if they HD remaster 8 and not 9, I may boycott Square for like.
I mean, they're doing 7, and I feel like they should do 7, 8, 9.
They should do.
That'd
7,
be cool.
8, 9.
Like
that
do
would
a
be
7, 8,
amazing.
9 thing.
Because
Yeah.
they've remade 4 like 8 times.
Yeah.
They've remade 4 so many times. They've remade the After Years like twice.
I want to point out that I do still have no idea where I'm going.
Just park.
Just park?
Just park.
Where
Just
is it? They have, but no, I was upset with that last 4. They were like, we're gonna remake it, and the video they released was like, it looked like the 7 remake, and then it just looked like regular old 4.
Well, I mean, you think about it.
That would take a lot.
That would take a lot.
I know,
of work.
but they were. I'm saying the way they were showing it. It was just like, this is gonna be the new game, and I'm like, what? That looks like PS4. What is happening?
See, I would have liked it had they made it like that, but I do to an extent understand why they didn't.
Yeah.
Because
it would have took way more time than they were just like, here it is. I'm like, what?
And they would have had to have found voice actors. And then, 4 is like, super fucking old. And so all these people who had already played it had like an idea of what these characters sound like. Then you throw out and it's like Troy Baker playing Cecil. And it's like, no. No. Because I love Troy Baker, but God, no. No, not him as Cecil or Kane. And Troy Baker would get a
What was that
job.
back then?
I love Troy Baker.
Yeah.
He don't need no more work. No more work in Final Fantasy. Stay out of Final Fantasy. You got Snow. I don't need to be playing another Final Fantasy game. Hear Snow's voice and be like, fuck. Thank you, Troy Baker. I love Troy Baker though.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a GIF set on Tumblr earlier today about Troy Baker.
Yeah.
And it was like, people ask me all the time how to get into voice acting for video games.
Yeah.
And he was like it's actually really simple. Step 1, save up your money, buy a really decent like microphone. And it was like step 2, wait for me and some other guy who apparently gets a lot of work to die. And it was like, yeah.
What's his name? Cal Herbert. Anime Blues Con, 1 or 2, he was there, and he was talking about how hard it was, and how he would make some decent money, but when he wouldn't have work, he super wouldn't have work. And that's the guy who does he does Vegeta, and he does the announcer next time on Dragon Ball Z. He does those.
The least amount of money.
Yeah. Don't give your money to the Salvation Army. They are a terrible place and a terrible company.
I feel bad for those kids though.
I feel bad for those kids back there as well. Don't do it.
But it has rice in it. And grains fill you up.
Right. I'm going for it.
This is Los Delicios.
I really love some soup right now.
Delicioso. I haven't been here in a minute because white queso seems to not sit well with me. But we are going to do it anyway.
Fuck. What are you doing?
I was watching you wrap the present. Whose present is this?
My mom's. This is far too much paper. There you go.
What's up?
I'm gonna go see Krampus.
Krampus, the German Christmas devil. The real story.
He has goat feet.
He's the real meaning of Christmas. Not the nigga in red who brings you gifts and is jolly and steals your cookies that you put out at night and your milk. I used to do that.
What? Eat the cookies? Or
No,
put out the cookies?
I used to put out the cookies and milk, and I'd get up and they'd be eating, and I'd be like, Santa was here, he ate some cookies and milk, and he left me a whole Sega Genesis under the tree.
Apparently, we did it one time, and I think it was because I was I was child age, and I was like, Santa's not real, and they wanted to prove to me Santa was real. And so we
So
put
they
them
ate the
out.
cookies and stuff?
Yes. And then I woke up the next morning and there was shit under the tree that wasn't there before. And I was like, oh my God, he is real. Child me was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Huh?
My car has more space. You want me to drive? Because it will be